To all my government workers, this video is for you all. If you are a federal employee, would you take the buyout? Have you already taken the buyout that Trump is offering to try and cut down on government spending as him and Elon try and audit everything with the buyout? I don't know how much they offering. I don't know what's the age range. I mean, if you a senior citizen and you probably in your 60s and you take the buyout, probably makes sense. Go ahead and retire, get on out of there. But if you maybe even if you late 50s, but if you 54 and younger, does the buyout make sense? Uh, in terms of how much they offering you. See, I don't know the details in terms of taking that and can you invest that or start a business with that, the severance package. However, the Trump administration is playing this out to cut down government spending. So, the less federal employees, the less government workers, the more money the US government gets to keep. But I would be careful if you 54 and younger, you my age, I'm turning 40 this year, and they're talking about a buyout. And you may want to stay a little bit longer just in case that buyout can't sustain you through however many years. It ain't something to just jump at. Now, I done heard of Trump just still eliminating positions without a buyout in different places of the government, and uh, really sorry for those people that lost their jobs that are in those positions. But for those that are being offered this buyout, I think he's been doing it through email. And if you receive the email, depending on your age, probably think twice before you take it. It might make sense depending on what else you have going on, and you want to say, okay, they want to pay me this amount. I'm out. I'm out of the government. It might make sense, but I would just say weigh your options and just be real careful and think long and hard before just letting yourself be bought out. Now, I don't work in the public sector. I'm in the private sector. But if I was and they were offering me a buyout, I would definitely weigh the pros and the cons on, okay, if I take, how much are they paying me to leave the federal government? What do I have saved up already? Do I have access to a pension with this buyout? Because I got to think of, my future as I go towards retirement. The buyout might help with an early retirement, but I got to make sure my income is all solid. That would be my thing. Now, that's coming again from a perspective of someone, it's just me. I don't have any children. And so that may also play into a factor for the ladies and gentlemen who are not parents and may look at that buyout as a different opportunity. If you're a parent, you might think at it, okay, so now I'm out of this job, but I still have children who depend on me. And then only the other parent has income coming in. So, we have to look at it from all the different sides. But it's definitely interesting in terms of why they want to do buyouts and cut other aid. They say, it's to audit the spending. They say the United States government is spending way too much money on migrants, money sent over to foreign countries. Now, the naysayers believe that they don't care about government fraud or spending. They have their own agenda. And so that's why Trump and Elon are trying to cut services and funding and employees, people, because all of that allows for money to stay in the U.S. government to go towards whatever other projects they have in mind. So I don't know how you might feel about it and if the reasons behind these government audits is legit, if it's honest, or if Trump and Elon have something else up their sleeves. Only time will tell. But think long and hard if you're a federal employee, if you've been offered the buyout, on whether or not you would take it. If, like I said, if I was in my 60s and they're offering the buyout, I'd probably say, peace, I'm out. But if I'm under 55, I got to look at all of my other finances, especially if I'm part of a household where it's more than just me, and say, okay, can this sustain me? Where can I go from here? And then, with all of the tech layoffs and just layoffs in general, and you going back out there into the competitive job market after a federal government buyout, do you want to deal with competing with all of these other people who are looking for a position? It might make more sense for you to reject the buyout and just stay with the federal government for the time being. Not that you need to stay there for another 15, 20 years, but still stay for the rest of 2025. Despite what Trump is trying to do and cutting spending, you don't necessarily have to be part of that spending. So it's going to be interesting how this all plays out with things that have been cut, different programs, DEI, all of that, where they trying to rope back in the money, stop sending stuff here and there. And it's not a bad idea about being audited. Everybody should know where tax dollars are going. While we have money for this, but then don't have money for that. People who are out here voting, I think deserve to have some type of intel on where the monies are going. And, if we can pull back on some of that spending, maybe if the government can pull back on some of that spending, maybe it helps the United States kind of knock down that what's it at, $36 trillion in United States national debt at the moment, and it maybe long term may help certain things to be cheaper. I know not right now, when more money or is just still being allocated to the United States citizens ourselves versus going out to every other country and just other departments that they get funding, but it's not really necessary, and that money can go elsewhere. You always want to look at that budget, even for the United States government, and balance it. I know some people were worried about certain scientific research being put on hold because of the government funding that goes to these laboratories for them to research and find, new things, I guess maybe cures for diseases, etc. But I think also we're going to look at cutting funding. We have to look at NASA and the space program and how much money is being spent on that, and can we cut back on that? So it's a lot of things that can be looked at. You can look at your own individual life and budgeting, auditing your own self and seeing what you need to cut out. And I think everybody should do that. So look at the United States government as you, and what would you audit about you to see, okay, I can cut that off. We don't need that. What would you let go of? It's just a thought. So that's just my question to those who work for the government. If you've been offered a buyout, or if you haven't, if they did, would you take it? If you in that part of the government that's being offered the buyouts, I think if we knew a little bit more of the details of what's being offered in the buyout, I have no idea. We probably have a better idea of what decisions will be made if we're going to take the buyout or not. It has to make sense. You don't just give up your job just because they want to buy you out. And if they're giving you the option, you definitely need to, like I say, weigh the pros and the cons of these things. Once you just say, okay, they're going to buy me out, then that's it. You got to look at everything else that you have going on, and not just a quick buck. So you now got a decent sum of money, a lump sum, however much the buyout is paying. And so now you figure, okay, I ain't never gotten this much of a payday all at once. And so that's where it kind of gets people and trips people up, because you're getting a direct deposit. I'm assuming that's how they're doing it, not a check or however, for that amount of money all at once. And it's a big payday. But we got to think long term after being bought out. Okay, what next? If you're a government worker and you take the buyout, please be smart with the money. Don't go out there and start splurging just because you just got one big check. Do not do that. because government jobs can be difficult to come by, you know, the clearances and the background checks. So, like I said, unless you 65, be careful about considering Trump's buyout, regardless of the auditing they're trying to do and cut down on spending. You know, it's not you that's spending crazy, even though part of government spending is your salary. But you know, you have a better business case for why you should stick around, I think, in the federal government versus certain departments and certain aid being sent to certain countries, or at least how much, where that can be cut down, that can really help just the United States citizens in these 50 states right here. So it's just a thought. So if you going to be bought out, you know, go ahead and do it. Make sure all your ducks in a row. Use it to pay off all debt first, then make some investments. That's what I would do if I was in the government and I'm offered the buyout, if I were to take it. You know, like I said, my age right now, this year, 40 for me, I wouldn't take it. I'm gonna keep going. You know, I'm not old enough to just get bought out at this point. I'm gonna still keep running up the money and stay in my government position for the time being. But that's just me. And, you know, I'm not part of the United States government. But for anybody who is, would you take the buyout? If you already have and you watching this, is it worth it so far, you think, with which they've paid you to lead the government? Let me know. Put it down in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe as always. And let me know in the comments, would you take the buyout, even if you in the private sector, not in the public government sector. If you were government employed, would you take the buyout? You know, how does that sound to you? Or do you think Trump administration is wrong for just cutting spending, period, and these people shouldn't even be offered buyouts? So I'm open to all opinions and ideas in terms of what you all think about being bought out as a government employee. Would you do it? Would you not do it? Again, put that down in the comments. And like, share, and subscribe again. And the channel, Facts or Feelings, all one word, no spaces. You put that in a YouTube search, Facts or Feelings, no spaces, and this channel comes right up. And everybody, just I'll leave you with this: be mindful of your spending. I'm always very cognizant when it comes to finances and just making sure that everything is in a row. I can't do anything else, not in this economy. You got to stay on top of things. So that's what I'm trying to do, and I will be back with another video. I'm out.